That we as humans actually have 12 senses, not just 5, 12. No, actually 12 on top of the 5, so 17. We got 17 senses, which is great since all we got is science, and that's observation and experiment. Observation is based upon your senses. So it's not just the 5 senses, it's the 17 senses. So in this bizarre world of fake news and having a bullshitter in chief, let's review the facts, science facts. Fact number 1, dinosaurs ruled the earth for 165 million years. Dinosaurs ruled the earth for 165 million years. Fact 2, I'm not going to do that the whole time. An article that does not exist was cited in nearly 400 academic studies and scientific papers. Brain cells can regenerate. The tongue of a blue whale is as big as an elephant. It's blue as as an elephant. A blue whale, the tongue, is as big as an elephant. The blue whale is the largest animal in the world. There's only 12 letters in the Hawaiian alphabet. Apple seeds have a cyanide compound. Crushed or chewed apple seeds release cyanide. You can die by eating apple seeds. So be careful out there. That one guy, potassium cyanide, right? Crab apples are indigenous to the Americas, as is cocoa trees and vanilla beans, corn, tomato, potato, pineapples. The gravitational constant is 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11th power, multiplied by N, Newtonian, open parentheses, meters over kilograms, close parentheses, squared. I mean, that's the gravitational constant. How can you understand life or existence? Just man-made lake in the U.S. is Lake Mead, created by the Hoover Dam. Is that true? I don't know. Challenge me on any one of these. If I am wrong as a scientist, I will change my mind. Show me the evidence. The poison arrow frogs of South and Central America are the most poisonous animals in the world. So don't lick those toads. And I know toads are not frogs. Don't lick them. Either way, Skylab, the first American space station, fell to the earth in thousands of pieces in 1979. Oops. It takes about 12 hours for food to entirely digest. And that was the poison arrow frogs. So don't lick the poison arrow frogs. Now, we got 5 human senses, right? Right, that's the basic 5 human senses. What are these other 12 senses that I'm talking about? Well, first, what are the 5? Well, you got touch. 5 basic senses that I grew up with and we all repeated was touch, smell, taste, hearing, and sight. But we also have proprioception and interoception and thermoception and nociception, vestibularception, equilibrioception, kinesthesioception, chronoception, peripheral chromoreception, and a sense of direction, a sense of pressure, and a sense of itch. And those are, in layman's terms, a sense of relative position of our muscles, joints, and body parts, a sense of hunger and thirst, a sense of heat and cold, a sense of pain, a sense of balance in our heads, a sense of balance in our bodies, a sense of movement, a sense of passing of time. We can sense the passing of time, sense the internal. It's good to know. The great thing about millennials is we are more evolved. We're more evolved. We've had the internet the entire time. So we are smarter, and now you know we have 12 more senses than what you previously thought that we had. Peripheral chemoreception is a sense of internal homeostasis. It's everything working on the inside. And you can actually, focus. It's like breathing, right? Breathing is involuntary, but if you pay attention to it, you can control your breathing. So all these things, right? Understanding your muscles and your joints. The Latin proprius, meaning one zone. So you can control and you have a sense of the relative position of all your muscles, joints, body parts. Sense of hunger and thirst. It's basically detects responses that guide regulation. Interoception is. So that's the heart rate, that's respiration, that's elimination. So taking a shit, that's interoception. And the stretch receptors are found in places such as the lungs, the bladder, the stomach, the gastrointestinal tract. The gravitational constant is 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11th power, multiplied by N, Newtonian, open parentheses, meters over kilograms, close parentheses, squared. Equilibrioception is the ability to keep our balances and sense the body movement in terms of acceleration and directional changes. But kinesthesia is just a sense of movement. So when you're moving, they're totally different. Just like a sense of itch, you're like, oh, that's touch. Well, it's a direct sensor system that is different than other touch-related senses. Chronoception, we have a great, startling, accurate sense of time, particularly when younger. So the chemoreceptors, the peripheral chemoreceptors, is the internal homeostasis. Vestibular, there's actually like little bones in our ears that, basically keep our heads balanced. And the known universe is made up of 50 billion galaxies. There are between 100 billion and 1 trillion stars in a normal, any run-of-the-mill normal galaxy. People say galaxies like but in any normal galaxies, there are between 100 billion to 1 trillion stars. Oh yeah, the Milky Way galaxy, there's probably about, 1 trillion stars in that galaxy. How many galaxies do you think there are? Trillions? There's trillions of stars in a normal galaxy. What about the big galaxies? In the Milky Way alone, there are as many as 100 billion Earth-like planets. 100 billion? I wonder how the math pans out. You think out of 100 billion there might be some bacteria or life? Lasers can get stuck in a waterfall. Half of academic papers are never read by anyone other than their authors, peer reviewers, and journal editors. There are 206 bones in the adult human body. There are 300 bones in children's bodies. When they grow, their bones fuse together. The smallest bone in the human body is the stapes or stirrup bone located in the middle ear. It is approximately 0.11 inches or 0.28 centimeters, which we should be on the metric system. So 0.28 centimeters, that's the tiniest bone in the human body. The longest cells in the human body are the motor neurons. They can be up to 4.5 feet, 1.37 meters long, and run from the lower spinal cord to the big toe. There are no poisonous snakes in Maine. Don't even tell me that there's poisonous snakes in Maine, because there's not. There are 0 poisonous snakes in Maine. You know what animal is the biggest killer in the world? The mosquito. The mosquito kills 1 million humans per year, the biggest killer of humans. Well, people actually said it might be humans that do it. The gravitational constant is 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11th power, multiplied by N, Newtonian, open parentheses, meters over kilograms, close parentheses, squared. Peripheral chemoreceptors trigger an area of the medulla in the brain that is involved in detecting blood-borne hormones and drugs. Peripheral chemoreceptors of the carotid and aortic bodies are so named because they are sensory extensions of the peripheral nervous system into blood vessels where they detect changes in chemical concentrations. It's involved in the vomiting reflex. Peripheral chemoreceptors of the carotid and aortic bodies are so named because they are sensory extensions of the peripheral nervous system into blood vessels where they detect changes in chemical concentrations as transducers of patterns of variability in the surrounding environment. Carotid and aortic bodies count as chemosensors in a similar way as taste buds and photoreceptors. However,